Okay, hi guys. Just a quick video. I finally got my ZEX Pros. I got them last Monday. It's currently Thursday, so I've been using them for the past 3 or so days nonstop, just so if there's any change for the burn in. And here's my review on it, but more so as a comparison to the original ZEX. So, hardware wise, I actually really like the ZX Pro better. It has a more secure fit. It is actually more comfortable. I think it has to do with this wing over here, which the normal ZX doesn't really have. Also, if you can see the nozzle, the original ZX is longer as compared to the ZX Pro, and but the ZX Pro has a wider nozzle compared to the original ZX. But yeah, all in all, I actually on this one, the ZX Pro on the hardware side is actually an upgrade compared to the ZX, in my opinion at least. I really like how the ZX Pro looks. The transparent shell on the outside and the colored shell up front. It looks really nice. It reminds me of the other KZs on its higher price range, and I think those look good. Although it looks bulky, it actually fits my ears really nicely. So yeah, there's that. As for the cables, they're basically the same. It's the new trend where it's wrapped in plastic, bendable plastic. I'm not sure, but yeah, but I really like these ever since I saw them with the CCA and RAs. And with the hardware out of the way, let's talk about the sound quality. And I have a lot of problems with the ZX Pros. We can start with, I think it's harder to run. I set my FIO K3 on the same volume setting, and what I find is the original ZX is easier to run. It's comparatively louder compared to the ZX Pros. On the bass side of things, compared to the ZX Pros loses its punchiness and its bass detail. Although the bass is smoother, you will definitely miss how punchy and more detailed the bass of the original ZX is. It also kind of feels like there's a certain bass bleed on the ZEX Pros that I don't have a problem with the original ZEX. Not sure if it's exactly bass bleed, but it feels like the instruments or throughout the entire midsection of the ZEX Pros, the instruments feel really smothered. It's like you put a blanket on a speaker. It really sounds and feels that way. So that's another con for me and another point for the ZX. But the ZX Pros I think has does better on vocals, female vocals at least, and it continues up its way with a more bearable treble and brightness for me because I'm a treble sensitive person, and the ZX has tendency for me that I find them to be too shouty, and I find them to be bright whenever I listen to bright sounding songs, and the ZX Pros handles that better than the original ZX. So for my final thoughts about the ZX Pros, this one I actually don't recommend it, to be honest. Especially if you already have the ZX, I really don't recommend you getting the ZX Pros. If you're if you're just about to get either one of them, it depends on your place. Who's more expensive? In from where I'm from, the ZX Pros is about $10 more expensive, and in that case I'd rather just get the ZEX. Overall, I still think the ZEX sounds better than the ZEX Pros. The only reason I would get the ZEX Pros is if I haven't got this and I don't want a strong punchy bass. Like I don't if you're not the kind of person who likes bass that much, who wants to worry more about the vocals and is probably too treble sensitive, but I think the trade-offs are not worth it. You're better off with other IEMs. Maybe, like I said, just get the ZEX. It has better overall bass quality. It's better in instruments, and maybe you're not as treble sensitive as me. I think the vocals on the original ZEX could be really good. You can also think of the KZ Pros. Maybe they're more suited to your liking since the mids on the EDX Pros are actually good. Or if you want a more neutral sounding but doesn't have its mids mothered, I can recommend you the CCA NRAs. But overall, in all honesty, I think this is a bad deal. It's just KZ being KZ, throwing so many products out there, see what sticks, and this isn't one of them. I think it's really sad because I really like the ZX and I saw the housing of this and thought maybe it would be better because it was the same thing when I compared the EDX and the EDX Pros. The EDX Pros were better, so I had high hopes for this, thinking it would be better than the ZEX, but it wasn't. It's also quite more expensive. So, yeah. Um, that's it. I don't really, all in all, I don't really recommend the ZX Pros. But yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.